Joseph. Hello. Good morning, people.
Good morning.
Happy Friday.
I know, it's always a great way to start a Friday, doing a live. How is everybody doing? I don't know if anybody's watching yet, but...
There's a lot of people watching on YouTube right now.
Oh, I guess it's not showing on mine. Oh, there it goes. Oh, don't forget to make it public. Let me see. Let me make sure mine's public. Let me see.
So thank you for tuning in. What's up, Scotty? We love seeing you, man.
And Jimmy and Chris. Hello.
Good morning. We had such an eventful week. Got lots of things to share. Oscar will be here shortly. We know you're trying to say fam, Aaron. Good morning.
My phone is freezing. This is fun. Okay, let's let a couple more people join in, and then we're going to talk about how crazy this week has been in a good way.
Yes.
I'm making one.
You're making what? Okay. We got our third wheel back there. So.
She's cute, though.
She's our little cheerleader. All right. Thank you, guys. 14, good morning. Happy Friday.
So listen, I got some of the story about the Houston trip, but are we going to go over that today?
Yeah, I think we should go over what you guys learned with Longview, and then also like everything we kind of went through with the Houston deals.
Okay.
But where should we start?
Longview?
For everybody who doesn't know, my name is Myron.
Oh yeah, we always forget.
The grader. My roles are deal structuring and raising private capital. That is what I'm here to do. That's what I've been doing, connecting with people, learning what they're doing, seeing if they fit into, if they're interested in investing on what we're doing is basically what my role is. I am Carolyn's husband. She's my wife, however you want to say that.
Myron is on one this morning. I love it.
Thank you all so much for coming and tuning in, spending your time with us. Look at us. We are doing big things. Somebody said, look at y'all doing big. Thank you for saying y'all. Okay. Like we're all, I guess we're learning how to be Texans. So
learning how to be Texans. I've definitely integrated y'all into my vocabulary. So that's about as far as it goes though. Yeah, I'm Carolyn. I almost said Myron. I'm Myron's wife. I'm the visionary. She's the integrator. My roles are raising capital as well, broker outreach, networking, investor relationships, all that alongside KJ. And we have our little teeny 3-year-old back there hanging out with us. So if you hear some fun sounds, that's her back there too.
Awesome. I'm KJ. Everything Carolyn does, I basically do the same thing. Me and her are a couple on this team.
We're work wives.
Yes, we are. It's very exciting. I love it because me and Carolyn have so much in common, but it's also funny because I noticed Joseph and Carolyn are like brother and sister almost in a sense.
Yeah.
I told Joseph, I was like, you got a new best friend.
Yeah, we like to give each other a hard time. A lovingly hard time.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, I love our team. I love working with you guys. It's always good vibes with y'all. And I'm Joseph's wife as well. If y'all can't tell by the mud name, but then we got our. But you could go ahead, babe.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm Joseph.
I'm one of the 3 integrators on the team. I do underwriting with Oscar's girlfriend, Ione. We're the 2 main underwriters. Myron's really good at it too, though. We also will be doing asset management in the future. Once we have some more deals under our belt, that's pretty much going to be our primary focus. Eventually, the goal is to hire out somebody to do the underwriting, and that'll be coming soon once we build out this team a little bit more. But yeah, I'm one of the numbers guys here. I like doing anything behind the scenes. I like playing with the systems. Today, I've got a couple Zooms, and then I'm going to be sitting down behind the computer doing a lot of underwriting until Monday. So I've got a lot on my plate. We're going to talk a little bit about what we saw, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There was definitely some good ones. There was definitely some bad ones, and there was really some ugly ones. So
Yes,
a little bit of everything.
for sure.
Awesome.
So
Anybody else want to say anything before we start? And I believe that we should start with the long view. The long view.
That one's juicy.
yeah, that's a big juicy one. Myron, do you want to give us some details on the Longview deal since you were in the action scene there with Oscar? Oscar's going to be hopping on shortly here too. He's having some Wi-Fi moments.
Yeah, I'd love to talk really quick about that. There's some things that were going on during that visit. We had 2 brokers there when we initially saw it. We had 2 brokers and a property manager. And the owner is a developer here in Dallas, and so he has everything going on. He runs a bunch of properties, and this is kind of like his
Problem child?
problem property. Yes. So like things are going on, and when we were doing the tour the first time, they were really guiding what we could and couldn't see. They wanted to show us the better rooms, the ones that were being remodeled, like they're doing work. There's some problems there that were so apparent you couldn't miss them. But like, I started asking questions like, I want to see the worst unit you have. She's like, oh, no, you don't. I'm like, I do. Like, show me that. Oh, well, I don't have the key for it. Okay, go get the key. Like, I'll walk with you. Let's go do it. The last property manager took the key. Okay. Okay. So really, really guided. I'm not going to go too much into the numbers, but my experience was like, they wanted you to see what they wanted you to see. And you have to really ask questions to get to dig into it, because think about it. Like, how could I analogy this? Like, I'm going to buy a car from a used car guy, and, oh, well, no, don't look under the hood. No, you don't want to see that. Okay. Yes, I do. That's like that's the thing. That's the car. So ask those strong questions. There's Oscar and actually everybody else is really good at doing broker tours, and so they can chip in, but like, ask those crazy questions. Don't be afraid to don't let them rule, because you're the buyer. You rule it, right? So here's where it got interesting. We pulled up on our second visit. The reason why we wanted to do a second visit, because some of the CapEx we wanted to do some more investigating. So we called a couple plumbers out there, and when we pulled up, it was so interesting. On the front side of the property, it's like a circle property. You can drive all the way around it, the perimeter. The front had one of the units' fence was completely gone, and a tree was chopped up. And we had a good storm out here, and it knocked down a tree. So it looked crazy. I'm like, what the heck happened? Right? Oh, a tree fell. Okay. Well, it ends up that another unit, the ceiling fell in.
Oh, wow.
Another unit, somebody broke in and turned on the sink.
And this was different from the first visit, right? You didn't even know about this, and this was going on to the second visit, going deeper into it.
This was within what? The last visit was probably what?
I think it was 3 weeks before.
Maybe 3 weeks ago? Yeah. So not that long.
The units that she lost the key were on her key was on her keychain. She admitted it. It was on my keychain. Here, let's go look at it. And
Can you explain what CapEx is for those who don't know?
Thank you.
oh, did I say CapEx?
You did.
Yeah, I know it's like
Oh,
it's
right.
like normal to us now.
It just a capital expenditure. So like the things that you're going to repair that stay in place, like cabinets. Cabinets would be a CapEx. Maintenance is more like I'm gonna unclog a toilet. Sorry, I thought I heard something. So maintenance is like I'm gonna fix the thing, and CapEx is like I'm gonna repair a thing and keep it in place. Joseph, do you have a different explanation?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that CapEx is like for those that are in a single family, it's your renovation budget. That's what it is. It's all the things that you're budgeting for that you know you're gonna have to come in and fix to get the property up to A+ standards.
Yep. And so with the brokers weren't what Oscar. Hey, Oscar's here. We're talking about Longview.
Yeah, we started off with Longview, and then we're gonna talk about Houston.
And so we were going through. We got like the deep dive tour this time, and she was showing us everything. She was telling us things that were going on, and Oscar said it. He was like, Myron, everything, we can look at this two ways. We can look at this as a problem and be scared, or we can look at this as an opportunity. Let's look at everything that she shows us as an opportunity. And so she took us to pretty much all the units that we wanted to see. You know, go look at this, go look at that. I'm going to tell you about the problems. And yeah, it was a much better trip. And I think since Oscar's here, we had two plumbers come out. Oscar, do you want to tell them about the plumbers?
Yeah, sure. So the great thing about this particular deal is we had the opportunity to go out and do a little bit of due diligence before our due diligence if we were to place it on under contract. So they gave us permission to go get quotes for the plumbing because we knew the plumbing was an issue. And I think you guys already touched up on this, but when we walked the property for the very first time, we asked, what is your number one issue? And immediately, right before I even could ask the question, the property manager had already said plumbing. Like, what's your number one issue? Plumbing. Didn't even hesitate. They just said plumbing. And we asked them, how are you addressing the plumbing issue? She goes, well, we don't have a budget. So we just, as they come, we fix it. And then she mentioned because the property was built in 1960s, the plumbing is all original cast iron underneath. If you guys know anything about plumbing and cast iron, after a while, it starts to erode. Right. And because here in Texas, the grounds shift a lot underneath as well. Some of that plumbing breaks because of the ground shifting. So it's all original. So anyway, when we went there the second time, we brought a plumber. We actually brought two plumbers there, but we brought a plumber who's done work for me before in fix and flips. And he immediately, walking through everything, said, this, and that. Like, there's no clean outs here. There's no this and there's no that. And so we brought him in. He looked at some units on the inside and he looked at some stuff on the outside. But when we were there, he was conducting a test. I forgot what they call the test, Myron, but he did that one where it fills up or whatever. He did a test where he put something in one of the clean outs and I guess he blocked it off where the water will rise, right? And they can see whether or not there's a leak in that particular area. Well, we have the test running, the water inside of the units running on the bathroom and the shower, and then the water starts rising on the outside in the clean out. But it starts rising, and then out of nowhere, it all goes back underneath real fast. And he goes, okay, so I think there's a leak down here because normally that water should have stayed risen and it should have been up there, but it just disappeared. So there's a leak here. And I was like, okay, cool. Sounds good. Okay, what's it going to take for this particular property? What's the work going to look like? What's everything going to look like? Give me a whole scope. And he goes, if we were going to replace the plumbing for this entire property, we're going to need at least 3 days per unit. So the first day would be breaking the concrete and digging out the dirt. Second day would be replacing all the plumbing, the piping. And then the third day, the inspector would come. And then a day after that, just half a day, we cover everything back up. Dirt, concrete, onto the next unit. So he goes 3 days per unit is what we're going to do. Perfect. Sounds good. Give me a quote. He leaves, and then the other plumber comes shortly after that. The other plumber says almost the exact same thing. He just gives us options on how we can do it, different options. But there's a couple of things we noted with the other plumber, but we'll get into that in the separate deal, maybe later in the Zoom if you join us there. But the quote comes back preliminary from the first guy, the one that I've worked with before. And he goes, just for a clean out itself, you're going to need a lot of them. The clean out is about $1,800. And then the work that's inside the unit, breaking concrete, replacing the plumbing, the piping, putting it back together, inspections, permits, and all that kind of stuff, that's about $11,000 per unit. So I go, okay, cool. Well, give me the total amount for the entire work. And then he texts me back and says it's going to be about $900,000 plus for the entire plumbing just on the property.
Ooh, call it a million.
$900,000 just for the plumbing.
Just rounded off, worst case for $1 million in just plumbing, right?
And had you not gone out there and got those quotes and we went under contract, imagine how crazy that would have been to then have found out about all of these things and already put EMD down, and wow.
Yeah, so that's what I was telling Myron and the team here is that we're so grateful that we did this before we put it under contract. Don't get me wrong, all this would have still came out during the due diligence period, right? We still would have found out all this stuff, but I'm grateful we found it out beforehand so that we're not going back and forth with the seller if we were under due diligence right now. So we assess the situation again, but that's not the end of the story. There's more to it that we found out that day. It was like me and Myron were doing like private investigation work, right? It's like the brokers aren't here. This is like the uncut, the unedited, everything. We got to see everything firsthand. I'm not sure if you mentioned this or not, Myron, but they originally told us that there was 5 units that were down at this facility, at this complex. But when Myron and I went there, it turns out that there's actually 7 units that are down. And one of them because they had a storm the night before, one of them, the ceiling collapsed. And a tenant was living on it. Like they were living in that unit. So they were moving that tenant to another unit while they fixed that problem. And when we drove up to the property, Myron, I'm not sure if you remember, we noticed that the fence was all broken and just a tree had fallen on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw that there was maintenance people around the pool kind of like looking around, and the property manager comes in and she says, yeah, the pool over flooded. And so we had a flooding issue here because of the storm last night.
Okay.
You could tell by the dirt on the fence that surrounds the pool, just the dirt was inches high. And I just kept thinking, like, I'm thinking about this seller. I'm thinking about the seller's mind or state of mind. Like, oh my God, a ceiling fell. A tree fell. People are breaking in. And it's not like they're breaking in and sleeping in there and crazy stuff. They're just like kids. You know what I'm saying? But all these things are piling. And I don't think he's gonna, unless it's like somebody's in danger, he has to fix it. I don't think he's gonna fix anything he doesn't have to. He's inches away from doing a PSA with us. So what, how much leverage we're standing on a seesaw, and like we have the leverage. You know what I mean?
Hey, Myron, can you explain what a PSA is for those who don't know? My dad mentioned to me, he's like, y'all say all these letters and I don't understand what y'all are talking about. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Let me make sure that we like explain the things that we're talking about just in case someone doesn't know.
PSA is just a purchase and sale agreement, just a purchase. We're inches away from purchasing this deal, and I feel like all this stuff is piled up, and he's just gonna like just go like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I would probably
Oh,
what's that?
I said that, or he has to fix it himself.
Right.
For sure. Do we have any questions in here? Real estate.
Yeah, I see. I only see one question, but I don't think that we will be disclosing any of the addresses because we are still, in negotiations with these properties. We're not under contract yet. So one, that would be against, any NDAs that we have signed, and the CAs, or all these letters basically mean the same thing. Don't give out information. So that's one reason. And then two, right, we definitely, want to trust everyone, but in our experience, you trust but verify. So we don't want to just give out that information because you never know
Yes.
if they come back to hurt us.
Karina, if you want to discuss anything pertaining to a deal, we're going to be doing an underwriting Zoom at 12 p.m. Central, and you're more than welcome to bring that in there if you'd like to.
Can I comment on this one?
I was just about to. Go ahead.
It sounds like the property has bad juju. I know all about bad juju. I can see how someone would think that because I'm just saying a bunch of negative stuff. But if you just kind of switch your mind to say, what is that saying? Like when people are scared, you can capitalize on fear, basically, right? And so like bad juju could be bad juju, or it could just be a hell of a lot of opportunity to flip. I mean, when you do like single family homes, like give me the dirtiest house you got, and you can create, it's your chance to take something that's like ground level, has problems, and you go in there and just build something beautiful and you can even like flip the tenant base and have a completely different tenant base in that property, and you change the juju. You got to have all that good juju in you and spread it across that complex and change everybody's life in that complex is what we want to do. So the bad juju is there, and we do our whatever seance thing and smoke and whatever else and get it out of there. That is what we want to do.
Yeah, it's just like in relation to a single family hoarder's home. Like there's bad juju all over that house, but you almost don't think twice about it because you're like, you always go in there and you see the opportunity. A lot of people want those homes because they see immediate opportunity. Like, oh, I can flip this. This is an awesome layout and everything like that. But like, it's such a mindset shift when you're like looking at 89 units or even
$1 million
15 units, 15 units.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, like just take that mindset into like, think bigger. This is all it is we're just thinking bigger. Yeah. Money. I see money. Yeah, exactly, Kirk.
Yeah. I was going to say basically the same thing. It's opportunity, right? That's 100% what it is. I mean, that $1 million plumbing bill that we have to now budget for, we're just going to take that out of the purchase price. You know what I mean? We're going to make room for it on our end. And if they don't want to move forward, well, then, we move on to the next one. It's as easy as that, right? It's just how you said in single family, like you budget for that stuff. You obviously want to get it at a deep enough discount to where you still have room This is the same thing that we're doing in multifamily.
Yep. Awesome. What else? Anything else with Longview?
Jimmy has a question.
Oh, sure.
Let's see. What's the chances of getting them to give you 1 million for the plumbing? Me personally, I'm thinking 1.25 million. They will find other stuff.
Probably right, honestly.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely ask for more than just 1 million of a discount because one, we can say like obvious. There's the roof, and I think if I remember right, they said that they replaced the roofs not that long ago. But after talking with Oscar yesterday, it sounds like, from my short term of roofing experience, it sounds like they did not do a full replacement. Sounds like they only did patchwork, like replaced a couple spots and replaced the shingles. So we gotta have to budget for that too. So we're gonna definitely ask for more than 1 million. For one, convenience fee, right? Now that's more work that we gotta go do. Two, we have to make sure that we are budgeting enough for everything that has to get done. So it's a work in progress. We're still trying to figure out exactly where we're at, where the numbers fit, where everything will work out.
Yep. That's our main goal today and over the weekend, and got a lot of re underwriting to do.
Definitely.
It's all grounds for negotiating. All the negatives are the seller's problem, as long as you, as the buyer is aware of the problems and accounts for the negative with the property. Exactly.
So
Awesome.
anybody else have anything they want to add about Longview?
Yeah, there's a lot more. But
We
I don't
could
want
go all
to
day.
I don't want to make this all
Take
about
up this whole Zoom talking about this.
yeah, for sure. I could probably touch up on like 5 more items that we discovered while we were there, and they're all topics in themselves. But the last thing I'll leave off on is relationships are key when you're wanting to do due diligence in any property, because Myron and I had a great conversation, or have a great relationship with a property management company out in East Texas that we had developed before we were out in East Texas, like as much as we are now. And that property management company is based out of Tyler, Texas, but they manage everything in and out around East Texas, including Longview. So because of that relationship that Myron and I developed with them a couple months ago, we were able to contact them from the property management perspective and say, hey, we have a potential property. Will you guys be interested in giving us a quote and see if you guys can manage this one if we put it under contract? And they were, of course, they said yes, but the only hesitation was what kind of product is it? Because they typically manage Class A properties. They don't manage anything other than that. So when I said Class C, they were like, it depends on how many units. Let's check it out. But it helps to have that relationship, because I can pick up the phone and call them at any time and pick their brain. And I also ask them for their opinion as a property management company, because they will be able to give you the inside scoop on exactly what the numbers look like, pro forma, cap rates. They have it all, and they manage property, so they know the market very well. And so I called them and I said, can you give me your feedback on this particular property? And that was like last week on Friday. But when Myron and I were walking the property on Wednesday, the property management person calls me and he goes, Oscar, I've talked to a bunch of property management companies in that area, the ones that we have great relationships with and ones that we trust. And each and every one of them is telling me to tell you to not buy it, or be very careful when you buy this property, because the location is not great and nobody in town wants to manage this property. So he goes, think about it this way. He goes, this is the hood of this specific area, and the tenant base is not the greatest tenant base ever. And so it pays to have those relationships with people like that, like property management companies that know what's going in, what's happening in that specific location, in that town, in that area, because they're telling us, they were saying, I'm not telling you not to buy it. I'm just telling you, if you are going to buy it, make sure you know what you're doing. And also that can be another negotiation tactic for you.
For sure.
And Myron was listening to the call too, and we were just like, dude, we're uncovering everything today. Like every single thing is being uncovered today. That was another very important pivotal call that we had, because it told us more about the property than when we were already like $1 million in plumbing. And now we got the property management company calling us and warning us pretty much, and telling us be careful on what you're getting into right here, because this can be a tough property. So there's so many things. There's so many things that we uncovered that day that are just mind blowing for us. And again, there's more things that me and Myron saw, and it doesn't include some of the other crazier things, but have a great relationship with the property management company, because it will pay off. It will pay off 1,000 times, and it'll also make you have a better exit strategy and better underwriting. When you're doing your underwriting, you'll have better information and more accurate stuff that you can put on your underwriting.
I was gonna say that's a whole job in and of itself, like being essentially a freaking investigator of a property and like getting the inside scoop from the surrounding property managers or complexes, and like, you know, the next thing is like going back there at night and getting the real deal of what's going on over there, and like, you know, everything changes. But I think that would be a major, it's like what Oscar was saying, relationships, that's everything. It's not only with your team, it's with the brokers, it's with the property managers, the tenants, the maintenance people. Like if you're not delivering value and everything to them, and you're not going to be able to see what's coming back to you. Like, you need to build those relationships. And like, what an awesome thing that Myron and Oscar had that relationship with the property manager prior to this. So now it's like already a done deal. Like, I have the inside scoop on all the stuff, not just in Longview, but all in East Texas. Like, this is going to play into future properties down the road. So it's so beneficial. Sweet.
Should we switch over to Houston?
Yeah.
So Houston was
Wait,
fun.
let's answer Todrick's question real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I see there's a question there.
How long, deal-wise, were all of you in single family before exploring multifamily? Joseph and I were doing wholesaling for 2 years. And I mean, it was nothing like, it's not like we built out this $1 million business or anything. We were just doing deals. And it's kind of like the hamster wheel where we're like, okay, I'm tired of chasing that next deal. Like, Joseph didn't like talking to sellers. I don't like, I don't care for single family. I didn't want to own a bunch of single family. Like, Joseph and I always knew we wanted to do multifamily. We just thought that it was way out of reach. And then we had an epiphany and realized, why can't we do multifamily? Why can't we skip the whole single family process and just jump into multifamily? Because what really caught my eye was that I do a lot of dispo, and a lot of my buyers were like wanting to offload their whole portfolio and get into multifamily. And I said, why do I have to go through that? Why do I have to do what they're doing, but 10 years later from now? So I was like, why not jump into this and figure it out and skip owning the multifamily or the single family and just go into multifamily? So that's kind of what shifted us. And then I'll let you speak, Carolyn.
So for us, I mean, it's basically the same background in a way. We've not been wholesaling as long as KJ and Joseph, but we were definitely doing a lot of wholesale deals, creative deals, and everything. And we still do creative deals. Like, we still have our active income running, but we've just been giving a lot of focus to multifamily and balancing both of them. So we've only been in real estate a little over a year, and in sub 2 just a year, like a week ago. So it kind of, snowballed into this. We were working with Oscar prior to this on JV deals and stuff. And we just, we all just kind of meshed together because we just wanted to start working on multifamily, and we started working out the kinks and like, what do things look like? What do we want our roles to be? And just laying the foundation. So, I mean, we get a lot of questions like, when do I get into multifamily, or should I go into multifamily, and all these things. And it is a situation by situation thing. If you have more money than you have time, or you have to think about your highest resource of where you're at in your life. If you have whatever, you have a 9-to-5 job or things like that, like if you're not in a rush to get a deal, but you're like wanting to invest or you're wanting to explore, like go for it. I mean, obviously multifamily isn't a quick play on money. It's a long game. Yes, you will get paid out here and there, but overall it's like building wealth over a long period of time. So, I mean, just you have to think about your own specific situation and what fits your needs best. So I think that's the most important thing to think about when you're wanting to get into multifamily. Yeah. We were just answering the question.
Yeah, I think you answered it
Yeah.
stupendously.
Thank
Yeah, I like it. All right, so this I thought we should just know. Now we got a roofing guy. Boom.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Aaron.
Okay, and then a question from Tiffany. I can answer that really quick. Did you feel you needed the capital from wholesaling to get started in multifamily? In the beginning, yeah, I did feel that way. But as we learned, you don't need that. Like
You need it for your bills.
you need it for your bills, like or your normal monthly bills, like your electricity, water, rent if you're renting, mortgage if you're buying, that you need an active income. You need something coming in because, like Caroline said, this is a long-term play. Like we've been working for 4 months and haven't been paid from multifamily yet. So just keep that in mind. It's a long-term game, but you don't need money to actually buy this. We're going to use 100% other people's money. So, so you don't need your own money to buy a multifamily. You can get inserted in someone's deal and be an on-site manager. You could be the boots on the ground. You could go source the deal and get paid acquisition fee. Like there's tons of different things that you could do.
Yeah.
Tap G says, "Good morning." Good morning, Tap.
Good morning.
Yeah, Jimmy, I spent most of yesterday calling lenders. Yesterday, a couple offered to manage properties for me. My criteria being Class A, strong Class B. That's awesome. That's awesome. You found a combo.
Awesome. Let's touch on Houston. We've
Let's
been
do it.
live for 40 minutes and haven't talked about it yet.
I know.
And there's 8 of them. Oh.
Well, again, let's just touch on some of the best, some of the bad, and some of the ugly. We don't have to go super into detail with every single property. We can lump them together.
Let's
Let's
see.
start with the good. Let's start with the good. What was the best one? We know which one the best one was.
Man,
I don't know which one the best one was.
I want to say
Well, I can't
As
think
far as
of all of
aesthetics.
them.
As far as aesthetics goes, what property looked the best?
Oh.
And you guys don't remember
I
the last one.
I need
on
a
the
list.
last one on the first day.
The last
Okay.
one on the first day. Yeah, that one was basically a B plus. It was pretty close to being an A. Like super solid location. It was in the middle of the Galleria. It looked immaculate. There was the bad part about it, and which I believe the rest of the team agreed, is that the property was so well maintained that there was really not room for us to come in and bump anything up. The only thing that we could have thought of, besides a couple things here and there, was they had spaces in front of the ground level apartments where it was just like a concrete porch almost. It was boxed in, and they originally were planter boxes. So we were thinking of, sprucing them up real nice, making them look good, and charging a premium for those units, and they would have like a front yard. right? Put some turf on the bottom, add some little planter boxes on the side, things like that, or maybe even turn one of them into a dog park. There was things like that, but that was really the only thing. Like most of the units had already been renovated. Their property management was fairly good. The lady was kind of like she was very snarky, but her efforts were very visible. It seemed like she was doing a good job as far as running the property, and that's probably why she was snarky, because she knows she was doing a good job. She was kind of to us. I think, if I'm being honest, I think she judged us 100%. She saw a bunch of young people show up to go walk the property. I think she judged us.
I think
But
a lot
as
of them
things
did.
went on, yeah, a lot of them did judge us. But as things went on, especially in some of the other ones, they realized that we knew what we were doing, that we were confident in all the questions we were asking. We were basically running the show. And at one point, me and Ione were standing there grilling one of the property managers. Like we were just back to back, question, 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 question. And I felt like I had to apologize. Like I felt like I said, hey, I'm sorry if it's coming across like we're just grilling you with questions. Like we just have a lot of things and we want to make sure we get them answered. So if you feel uncomfortable, just let us know. Like we could tone it down a little. But it was pretty funny. And that I have to say that property manager, and this is a different property, that property manager knew her stuff. She responded very well. She knew every single answer to all the questions we asked. Like honestly, I would probably hire her back on that property. That was the very first one we saw on the first day. Yeah, she was very good. So I would say those two would be our goods, right? They were both well maintained. One of them looked a lot better than the other. The second one, which was the first on the first day, the second one, it was recently renovated back in 2015. So it looked good, but there was still a lot of units that needed to be actually renovated. Only 11 of them were done out of 70. So there was still 59 of them that still needed to be renovated. And most of them didn't even have washer and dryer hookups. So there was definitely a lot of opportunity on that second one.
So I have a question.
Let's do it.
Are either of those, the first one on the first day, the last one on the first day, first and last on the first day, are they $1 million upsides?
I believe the first on the first day is. The last on the first day is not. Because like I said, they've already done everything. There's no room for us. So that one is a no-go for sure.
Even with the rents?
Even with the rents, yeah.
Got it.
They were asking 33 million. Again, I'm gonna underwrite them again this weekend. So we're gonna take another look at it just to double check. But from what I remember looking at it initially, that there wasn't a lot of room on the table for that one.
Yeah. For the majority, like we saw, the majority of them were C class, but we had a couple that were like high Bs, like very well maintained. And then the very last one we saw was D or F class. F this class. No, I'm kidding. It was pretty rough.
Are you talking about the last one on the second day?
Yes.
Yeah, that one was a little sketchy.
That one was 178 units though.
That one was like I went to use the leasing office's bathroom and I don't even know the word. I did not feel good being inside of there. It was pretty disgusting. And I was like, I am scared to see what the rest of these units look like if the leasing office bathroom looks like this. But I mean, room for opportunity. But it's funny because I think with almost all of them, or at least half of them, they definitely did like they did in Longview, where like I think the third to last one on the second day, they only showed us the 4 that they renovated.
No, okay, that's a different one. I thought you were still talking about the 178 unit.
No, I'm talking about the one before that.
That's
They
108.
yeah, like
Keep track of it.
they like, oh, we don't want to disturb the tenants, so we're only going to show you these. But I'm like, you're still disturbing the tenants. Why can't we go see one that's not renovated out of all of them? You're only showing us the ones that you fixed up and look really nice. So
Yeah.
it just makes you wonder, like, what are you guys hiding?
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. They told us they only have renovated 4 units. And those 4 units were the 4 that we saw. And we asked them, I said, well, can we look at the other ones? Like Myron said. And they're like, no, we can't do that. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to assume it's the worst. So it's going to show in our offer that we're assuming it's as worse as it can be. I said, okay. And they were fine with that. Like, okay. It was pretty bad. But honestly, that property that we're talking about, the 128 unit, I like that one the best. I think it had the most opportunity for us.
I don't even think they were charging for pets,
We
right?
were not charging for pets.
And there's a lot of pets there.
A lot
And
of
like they
It's like, come on,
honestly
bring your pets in. Like we have
Yes,
a unit
that's
for
what
them
she said.
too.
their pool was down for a very long time. She
Yeah.
definitely lied about how long it was down. And then in their little clubhouse, like where you would think, oh, this is where you come and hang out and it's real nice and everything. It was basically where they were storing all of their
Appliances.
maintenance
There was,
stuff.
like, 3
Yeah.
fridges in there. Yeah, just chilling in the corner.
I was
Very
like, is this your
cool.
maintenance place? I was like, this doesn't seem right.
What
So
was
let me
the
back-
in the corner?
Just 3 fridges. 3
Oh,
fridges.
There's like a bunch of
refrigerators.
fridges in there, just like
They're just there, right? That like not even like organized. Like they're kind of sporadically just thrown in the room. It was an empty room. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
weird.
Crazy.
And let me elaborate a little. That pool, she said it was 2 weeks that it's been down. That pool was green, like dark green. There's no way that was only 2 weeks. Like
she
it was.
said, "Oh,
bad.
we're just waiting for the walls to be cleaned." And we're
Oh,
like,
Yeah, that's what she said.
I was like, "So are you gonna drain it?" Like,
Yeah.
because she it's really interesting when you're going on these tours, especially that we got the ability to see 8 properties, and you get to see how property managers do their job. And like,
Where's Oscar?
and yeah.
That's funny. Let's actually touch on that, right? I mean, we just brought it up. We saw how one property manager, that it was the first property we went to on the second day. So this property manager, one, she was wearing Crocs. Like, so that like already kind of like
Red flag.
a little bit. But during the walkthrough, she didn't know any of the answers to our questions. She's the only property manager. She's the only manager on site. Her and one other employee, a maintenance guy. Oh, and a house cleaner. So 3 people. The manager, maintenance guy, house cleaner. She didn't know any answers to the questions. She also only took us to renovated ones. And every single unit was renovated differently from the other. They all had different stuff. There was nothing uniform about it.
It's inconsistent.
Except maybe the paint color. I think that was the only thing that was consistent. Like some of them had black appliances, some of them had steel, some of them had white, some of them had tile, some had wood, some had carpet. Like it was all over the place.
Weird.
And then
She was
While
taking
we were-
personal calls.
she was taking a personal call in the middle of it, and you just hear her laughing, cutting up. Like we're trying to grill you some questions. Like we need to get this stuff answered. Like we're not here to waste our time. Why are you wasting our time? So long story short, she did a bunch of stuff that was just weird, and it made sense why the property is the way it is, because she is the manager, right? And so we get back in the car, and Oscar is a very nice person, right? He never says anything like against people or like
He's a cool
he
cucumber.
always thinks the best of people. We got in the car and he's like, she's getting fired. First thing we're doing, she's getting fired. Like, what? He was like, sorry. He is sorry. She's
No,
so
it's-
sorry.
Sorry.
What did he say
Yeah.
exactly? Was that it? He said
Yeah.
she was sorry, right? He was like, God, she's so sorry. He said it like 20 times.
She was a,
I think he
she
might have
was
said
a-
sorry ass, but that's
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. That's a good one.
I was like,
Thanks.
dang, Oscar, where's this coming from? He's like, I couldn't believe her. Like, I think that was the one property manager that we were like, is this serious? Like, are you just somebody's cousin that got put here and doesn't know what you're doing? Like
yeah.
we
Did
were
you just
asking,
start today?
like we asked her a question and like we had to repeat the entire question again because she was just like, wait, what are you talking about? And I'm like, did you not hear us when we just told you the question? And then we said, oh, the unit you just took us to. And she's like, which one was that?
Yeah.
Like she was just like clueless. Like I was like, dude, like how are you running this property right now? I was like, this is insane. Like I mean, there was some of them that I was like, wow, like if we were to come in with a new property management, I would feel bad. Like they're doing really good. But this one I was like, oh, she's gotta go like yesterday.
He's already gone.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, like it was bad. When we arrive at these properties, like one of the first questions we ask when we're in the leasing office is like, do you have like a pamphlet or a layout of like all the units and what the models look like, just so we can have a visual of, okay, this is your A unit, this is your B unit, like all the different models. And, so we can like take notes on them. And then we got there and she's like, no, I just ran out. Like I ran out.
And let me preface that with, she knew that we were coming, I
Right.
believe, almost a week in advance. I don't know exactly how long you set that up before, KJ, but I think it was like 4 or 5 days. So on the further side of a week. So she had time and knew that we were coming.
Yeah. Or like get your act together and print them out right then and there. So we have them.
It didn't
Like,
take that long.
no. And what the funny thing was, is she was wandered off and we were waiting in the leasing office for probably 10 minutes while she was talking to someone.
She was talking
And
to
the
another family.
The broker had to go find her and get her to like, let's do the walkthrough. And then, so that one finished. And then we arrive at our second one and it was like night and day. Like the owner was there. She had pamphlets for everyone. She immediately handed them out. She was like super professional, knew all of her facts and everything, and like took us to, I don't know, like 3 units, I think.
Yeah, we went to 3 of them.
An unfinished and a finished, and showed us like the maintenance room, like the maintenance warehouse closet thing, and just all the ins and out. And it was super professional, well done. And it's like, that's who you want managing your property.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see it reflects like the person that you have managing these properties. It's going to show up in all the units, and the people that are being attracted to this, so it's amazing to see all the different dynamics going along these tours.
I feel like it was day and night. And I was like, wow, like it was a great example of like knowing what I want and don't want in like a property management company. And honestly, like you are right, like it reflects a lot. And it's like, wow, no wonder why the tenants are like this, or no wonder why the property looks the way it does, is because you have no idea what's going on in the property.
Yep.
And it's just like, I don't know, it makes you wonder, is the owner even like overseeing you, or is someone overseeing you to even make sure? Like it makes you question like whoever is above you or the owner, like do they even care? And that also reflects on everything as well. So I think it was really great for us to go through all of those. We saw really nice properties. We saw some properties that like I would not feel safe walking by myself.
Like
and
the third one on the first day?
no, the last one, the 178 units, that one.
Yeah,
Well,
that one was.
That one had a really good security system, I thought.
Which one?
The last one.
No.
No, yeah,
I
no.
don't even think the gate worked.
Honestly,
Was there a
if
bunch of cameras all over the place?
Wait,
there
we
was, but it was the tenants that put the cameras there.
Oh,
To
So they
protect
did
their
it for a
stuff.
reason.
the property was so sketch that the tenants were installing their own security cameras outside their windows on the parking lot and outside their
Mhm.
house and then there was like signs everywhere like this is a drug and gun free community and like
They
It's a-
crossed out. They
Bro.
crossed.
the free
Yeah,
was crossed out like okay.
Yeah, there was dogs, random dogs, just living on the property, like stray dogs.
Wow.
They were just there chilling in the courtyard. Ione didn't want to walk next to them. I mean, they seem like nice dogs, but
You don't know what
they
they
were
got
just there.
going.
They were just chilling. Yeah, honestly, I think that it has so much potential. It really does. But the property itself is in such bad shape. I don't think I would want to take on that project. Not as a first project. That's a really intensive project.
Well, I think it'd be a long time before you actually are able to like turn over everything and get a new
Stabilize it.
tenant. Yeah, to get a new tenant base and remodel everything. I think that's definitely going to take some time for sure. And honestly, the area around it, when we were driving around, it wasn't that nice
Yeah, it's
either.
not
So I know location is like the most important thing when looking at a deal. So it's like, okay, we really need to, make sure we're looking at location. And if I don't feel safe here, we probably shouldn't pursue the deal. And I'm glad we walked these properties because on paper, these brokers make everything look really nice. They make it sound really nice. Their job is to sell you on it. And so walking the property, seeing firsthand how everything is, it really gets you the inside scoop of everything going on. And you're able to ask more questions. And we have tons of things we need to go back and re-underwrite because it's like, wait a minute, this isn't adding up, or we need to account for these problems that we found that they didn't mention on here. So it was a good experience to go through all of that.
So I would say we do the underwriting is going to happen, and then figure out which one you might want to go see a second time. Because that second time, like the egg gets cracked a little more, you know what I mean? You can see what's going on inside of there. But yeah, I didn't get to go, but I'm super excited for everything y'all did and what happened, all those experiences you guys had. So thank you guys for coming in.
You should go on your second walkthrough.
Yeah, you'll get the second one. I don't know if I want to pay for another flight out there. It was, bro, flights are expensive, man.
Yeah.
It was
And
good though. I mean, I also want to.
it was absolutely worth it.
You guys, I want to touch on how important it is to find a good broker, because our broker on the first day, the one that he actually, when I first talked to him, he didn't like us at first, and then he called me back, and now he's like our best friend.
Oh man.
But he borrowed his wife's van, came and picked us up, and all of us rode together in his wife's van. He brought us breakfast, and he had a cooler in the back with drinks for us, and he drove us around to every single property that day. And it was just like, it was amazing. Like since I'm pregnant, I was struggling a lot of the time because it was so hot. He would go and turn the van on early and let me go sit in the car and cool off, and like he was amazing. Like,
You. I loved him. I told everyone, I said, I just wanted to be like arm in arm with him the whole time. Like he was just the cutest, like uncle,
What was his
grandpa.
Johnny.
Yeah.
yeah. He was awesome. He knew his stuff. He knew everything about the area. He was teaching us all kinds of things. He is very good at building relationships with other brokers. And
while we were driving around, basically everywhere in the city, he was like, I sold that, I sold that, I sold that, I sold that. Because he's been there for years, right? He's been in Houston for years, and he's been doing real estate pretty much the whole time. And so he's been there since before, like some of the stuff was even built in that area. So he was selling them to other people all the time. So it was pretty funny. Just everywhere we drove, because I sold that. I remember selling that. I sold that whole complex there. And like, it was impressive.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he definitely set the standards very high. Our next broker that we met with, he was amazing too. He wasn't up to Donnie, picking up a van for us to drive us around, but he was very knowledgeable, very professional, very nice, and I would love to do business with him as well. The third broker that we met,
Not so much.
he's a one deal a year kind of guy. So I don't know if that would
multifamily.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be a relationship that we continually pursue. But if he's got a deal and it works out, we wouldn't be opposed to working with him. But he's not someone that's going to continuously bring us deals like the other two. So a lot of people talk about what's better, calling brokers or calling a list. I think both of them are great, but something to keep in mind is that brokers are going to continually bring you deals, but when you're talking to sellers on a list, that's like one and done unless they own multiple properties. So it's really great that our broker is just calling us saying, hey, I got this, like take a look and let's move. So it's really great for speed. And also it kind of helps to have him also asking questions for us and kind of like being that person on our side and, having those conversations with the broker, because brokers to brokers are different, right? It's like agents. It's like they'll tell each other things that they wouldn't normally tell the buyer or the seller, or maybe they'll listen better just because it's coming from someone like them. So I think that kind of gives us a leg up with having him on our side, because he's like, oh, I'll handle this conversation. I know how to talk to them about this or whatever it is that we need, which is super helpful.
Yeah, he was great. I can't wait to visit him again.
I know we even went to dinner together. It was nice. It was very nice.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Should we answer some questions and then finish up?
Here.
Yeah, let's do it. Here, I got one. Tap G. Hey guys, my question, as you continue to look for the deal, are you guys building a list of possible investors at the same time, or are you focusing on the deal first? Great question, Tap. So our primary focus is the deal, right? We want to find a deal that makes sense, that we know is $1 million deal, that we feel comfortable moving forward with, right? But with that being said, we are also still looking for people to invest in these deals with us. We have a questionnaire, I think Myron made it, is basically like a soft commitment, right? We obviously want to make sure that we do everything above board and legally so we don't get in trouble with the SEC. So it's just a soft commitment, like, would you be interested in future multifamily opportunities with us? Pretty blanket statement, so that we can go back to the people that filled out this questionnaire and have a further conversation with them about it. So that's pretty much our plan of attack.
Well, also, while we're walking these properties with these brokers, we're asking them, do you invest in real estate? Do you have like funds that you want to park somewhere? And some of them are like, yeah, I do actually. Or some of them are like, no, I haven't even thought about it. So anybody and everybody, like while you're on these walkthroughs, you can build a relationship with the broker, or sometimes there are other people there at the walkthrough that you can talk to as well and say, hey, are you interested in investing? And so if they know that you're about to buy the property, they could possibly park their money somewhere and get a return. That's a great opportunity too, to talk about it with them while you're there.
Absolutely. Anyone and everyone is your next investor. So talk to everyone. Is the broker that took you around the listing broker for all the properties, or are they essentially a buyer's agent finding you other brokers' listings? How would they be compensated? So to answer the first part of the question, the person that drove us around, it is a buyer's broker. They were working as a buyer's agent in that. And for him, we actually spoke to him about doing on a case-by-case basis anywhere for a 0.5 point to 1 point. So 0.5% to 1%.
And
And
that's if the seller doesn't cover. We're pushing that the seller side covers his fee. And we're going to
Correct.
do whatever it takes to make sure the seller covers his fee. But either way, we like to have an upfront contract and have that covered either way. That, okay, worst case scenario, the seller will not pay. We are negotiating a small percentage to get him paid. And in his eyes, we're going to be doing lots of deals together. So he's willing to take a smaller percentage, which works for us.
everything's
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, and the other agents that we talked to were actually the broker listing agent. So it just depends.
okay. Next question from Todrick. When selecting potential properties, are you looking for a certain number of units? Is there a sweet spot for best ROI? For those of y'all that don't know, ROI is return on investment. So, sounds like, Todrick, that you should go check out one of our underwriting Zooms, at least the first or second one, because in there we talked about napkin underwriting. And for us, we have a buying criteria, which, you know, for just blanket statement, we're looking for minimum 40 units, right? If it's more than 40 units, we'll look at it. And there's more to the buying criteria, but just for sake of the question, if it's 40 units or more, we'll look at it, do a quick napkin underwrite. And if it shows that it's $1 million deal for us, and it shows that their asking price is, you know, relatively in the same ballpark as our potential offer, then boom, we'll look at it further and we'll actually underwrite the deal. But we do those 2 napkin underwriting to qualify the leads that come in. And that's pretty much what we do.
Awesome. Thank you for all the questions, guys. Do you
So,
look at a tenant's car lot to observe what kind of income level they may be at? Yes. I mean, it's what we like to do. We tried to do our best, especially when we walked in Houston, is we take like a drive around, like a drive through around the property and even around the surrounding area if we have the time, because it's going to tell the story in and of itself. If you're seeing broken down cars, if you're seeing trash in the lots, if you're seeing random stuff happening, or
A car on cinder blocks.
a car on cinder block, you know, like, you're going to get a good image, or like story, a read on what that tenant base might look like. Or, you know, not only the tenants, but the property manager's not caring. They're not caring. They're not pouring into their community and making sure things are up to par and things are taken care of with their tenants and everything. So I think it reflects more so on the property managers than the tenants, because if your property manager doesn't care, the tenants aren't going to care. You know, and if a property manager gives a shit, they're gonna take care of those things, and you're not going to see those tenants living there, or all of the shenanigans you don't want to see happening. So yes,
like crossing out drug free.
You know, it could just be a silly teenager just messing around, but.
Well, you guys, in 45 minutes, we're having an underwriting Zoom. If you want the link to it, please go to our multifamily, the $1 Million Upside Facebook group. In the featured section, you can find all of the links, or you can follow us on Instagram, and we post the links there as well. So definitely look there if you'd like to join. We'll be doing that in 45 minutes. I think Joseph's going over today what to do next after you underwrite a deal, because we've covered a lot about how to napkin underwrite, how to deep underwrite, you know, how to look through all the financials and things like that. So the next step is like, okay, what do I do now that I've underwritten the deal? So we're going to go over that process with you guys and hopefully give you some more information. So definitely bring any questions you have. And if you haven't seen the previous underwriting Zooms. If you go to that featured tab in the multifamily Upside Facebook group, there is a Google Drive that you can access all of our previous Zooms that we've had, so that way you can rewatch them.
Amazing.
Yay!
What are these forms that you guys posted here? I know one of them is the one we were talking about the future multifamily opportunities. That's this one.
Yep, they're the same. They're the same one.
Same form? Perfect.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's all 3.
One was a longer link version, and you
Okay.
on that one. Thank you for posting this, because don't include the word talk at the end. My space didn't get in there, I guess.
So the link ends at the number 9.
Exactly.
So after 9, that's the end of the link. And that's what we were talking about. I believe it was Tap's question. Do we look for investors? Yes, we do. This is how we send out this form and talk with people.
Well, come into
Secondly,
the Zoom at 12, y'all, and we'll post it again correctly.
Yeah, we'll post it again in the Zoom. It's easier in the Zoom.
It's
Yeah.
also posted in the Facebook group as well. I'll go add it to the link. I'll go add it to the list of one spot. But if you guys are getting value from us doing this every week, it would mean so much if you guys could shout us out or post what you've learned, or invite more people to come in and be part of what we're doing here. We would really love that from you guys. I hope that we're providing value or giving insight that is helpful to you guys about what we're doing. We are not professionals. We are literally coming on and telling you things we learn as we do them. So every week we go through problems and troubles or whatever it is that we go through, and then we come on and we talk about it and show y'all what we've learned as we go through it. So y'all get to go through this journey with us, and I'm hoping that we can bring you guys up with us. We want everybody to be successful in doing what they want to do, and I'm hoping you guys can learn from our mistakes, and hopefully we can help you guys learn to be better as well.
Thank you.
Better.
We'll see you
Love
in
it.
45 minutes.
Yes, join the underwriting Zoom.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
guys.
Bye, guys.